So I got a dishwasher that will not drain. It's obvious that this solenoid burned out, and that's why it won't drain. But can you tell what caused this solenoid to burn out? The answer is coming up on today's episode, Dishwasher Solenoid Salvage. Okay, so I need a new dishwasher solenoid, but gonna see if this one's getting demolition and taken out. So just gonna unplug everything and gonna see if this hot paint, solenoid's gonna work. What I have on the other one is a GE solenoid, and so let's see if this. Sometimes these are similar. Different parts are made by the same manufacturer, not always. I'm gonna see what I can salvage. Gonna see if I can also salvage the timer from this one, if that will match up as well. I kind of have. I don't know. If I'm just going to guess at it, I'm guessing I'll be able to use the solenoid and not the timer. But time is going to tell. Definitely very curious. Alright. Again, this is all getting junked. So, it looks like the same solenoid. So that's good. Looks like the same motor, the pump and motor. So I actually will likely salvage the pump and motor. See, this is one of the old ones. Did not have a
built-in GFI.
Yeah, it looks like the exact same motor. That's great. It looks like the same solenoid. So I can probably, well, it's got the drain line in the way, but I'll be disconnecting that anyway. Taking all that out. Almost the water shuts off anyway. I've got to take it out anyway. That's part of the demolition, so if everything turns off, and that is if. I don't have all my tools with me, but I think I have enough to do this job. So. Something from the fridge. Sometimes you wind up taking a deal and putting it out of there. Catch any excess water. Works out pretty good. And I could just take off the solenoid from below, but I have not had, on the new dishwashers, I've had 2 solenoids burn out, as I showed in the video. But I have all the old solenoids, not a single, well, maybe that's not true. I've had about the same amount maybe of solenoids go out. So unless there were some dishwashers that were replaced that we just didn't determine that it was the solenoid and it was replaced. But I have very few solenoids go out. That's the okay. There we go. Now the faucet's gonna drain out its water, which is fine. I also need to take the drain, disposal drain out. Go, drain line's out. Good, good, good. Now, got 2 screws on the top of the dishwasher here. Pull those out. Again, this one will just be much easier to, at least in theory, it'll be easier to pull it out. Demolition! Countertops are coming up too, so I'm not worried about anything here. If I break it, I break it. These we can lower the feet. Make it a little bit easier. There we go. Still being screwed. There we go. Alright. Now we'll pass step through the back here. Nice. Now that will make it much easier to get bigger. Flip it on its back. Now I'll be able to take the pump and the solenoid. The solenoid will probably be easier just to pull apart here. Now normally I'd take it all in one piece because the solenoid is attached to the pump, and sense on the other unit will just be this one didn't want to pull off, but a little leverage, putting it in the screwdriver and just a little twist, about the easiest way to pull off a stubborn one. This one's wire tied to the deal. Leatherman and snip that off. There we go. And now I can pull the solenoid apart. So, looks pretty universal, so that's great. I don't think I even need to take the spring or the little deal off in order to change this out. I just need to pull this screw. There's two screws. One here. This is for the future as well. Just make it a lot easier. Pull this one down and then pull out the screw. Second screw. Then I don't even need to mess with that little C-clip. On the last one that I did, if you saw the video, I pulled it apart and then I lost that little C-clip. By doing it this way, I won't lose that little C-clip. Uh-oh. Actually, I'm going to have to, because it won't release from the post without that. So, it is what it is. Insert this in. Pull behind. Just pull behind the little C-clip here. There we go. Careful not to lose it. Okay. Spring's still on there, but oh, no, it's not. Okay. There it is. And the C-clip. And I'll save that all in one shot. All together now. There we go. That's the solenoid. Now for the pump, I will recover that as well. So, disconnect the pump motor. It's got a capacitor in it, so we can discharge the capacitor if it has metal leads across it. It really does, on this, cancel out inside the motor windings as long as you haven't had a burnout. This one turns freely, so that's easy enough. We got two connections. One here. Oh, shoot. It looks to me like a different connection here. This is not going to work for my units anyway. And I'm hoping that solenoid lines up. It really does look like it will. You never know until you try. But this one, the pump size is different here. I could save the motor. I can save the motor, but I don't think it really comes apart. Oh gosh. It does come apart, but you got to take apart the inner deal. So I can save the capacitor. That's what it comes down to. I can save the little, I believe it should be a 12. Oh gosh, this one does not have wire leads. It's part of the unit. They didn't make it replaceable. You'd have to cut the leads. You know, on the rest of it, I think I'm gonna wait for a GE deal that matches up with my deals. I don't know. I mean, I can take it out just to show you, or just for fun. Oh boy. At least I think I can. There we go. Here's the drain hose. Take it for parts all around. That's loose. Okay. And then we've got the motor mount and the ground wire. So. Here we go. Oh boy. My deal's a little rounded, so that's not so good. This front one has no flathead screw to it either. Well, this dishwasher is going to be nice and light to change out once we pull the motor. That's where most of the weight is. And now I can use the flathead to use the ground wire here. So I somewhat got what I needed. There we go. Go ahead and pull the motor now. There we go. There it is. Wow, look at that. Had a little stuff on there. This is the stuff that kills them. It's on the little grinding ring. It actually was still okay, but will do it. It still was spinning okay. Wow. Surprisingly. And this unit's getting remodeled, so I don't need to worry about the carpet or anything. Yep, that's that. That's the dishwasher pump and motor. A little different size, I think, on the port, so it won't work for my other units. But if I needed the capacitor, I could cut it and wire nut the new one. This one, it looks like it's soldered in place. So that's that. Everything drained through this little deal. I think it probably has like a check valve. There's probably still some water in the dishwasher, so if I put this forward, I should get something for it to drain into. I think I'll take that refrigerator drain or pan and lift that into it. Again, all this stuff is getting demoed, so I don't care too much. I don't care about the refrigerator pan or anything. Just want to limit the water going into the carpet. How do you feel, buddy? All right, that worked out good. I got that last bit of water. And now I wanted to see if I can use the timer or not. I should have done that part in place. Get my drill to do it, but okay. It's just like 6 screws to take the door part off. Might be a good idea to save some of these screws too, just in case of one getting lost or something getting lost. These are things that happen. Probably take the spring assembly too. It's funny, the parts inside of washing machines stuff are kind of expensive. Just priced it for the solenoid was $40 for the solenoid. So I was like, well, if I can salvage it from this, save 40 bucks. And the timer is $80, so if I can salvage the timer, I'll be saving that. So a little bit of time to take these screws apart is an investment. Also a good idea sometimes to save detergent, jet dry cap. Those are things that get lost or damaged. And even the soap cup cover, those get kind of damaged over time sometimes. And this one's, whatever it is, 20 years old, 10 years old. It's been a good machine. 2 screws to go. Again, the drill will majorly speed things up, and when I change out, well, if I need to change out the timer on the new one. So I have a solenoid break, and the last time I had to replace the solenoid, it was actually because of the pump. It also broke out the timer. The one I have to change, the pump is fine. The timer, no. These I think have a little set screw underneath. Here. Yeah. This hot point. There we go. And now we can separate the halves of the door. I might take the spring assembly with the door. It just kind of pulled right out. Okay. And now the timer. Okay. The power cord is disconnected. Again, the capacitor likely discharged in the windings. So, yeah, it says warning, disconnect power before servicing. Looks like this plug is similar, and the timer plug is similar, and the timer looks pretty similar. But my other one has a big plate on the back, so it's actually different. So it's not going to work for me at all.
Or at least not without a bit more experimenting.
If we wanted to take it out, we just pulled the disconnects and two screws, and then there's the timer. Yeah, that's just not going to be any use to me. Okay, well that's that. Got all the screws, got the door latch. I think the door latch, that's even different than my other units. You know, if I had units that were using that, I'd save that. But I don't. The pump, the same thing. I think that's not going to work out for me. But a little exercise and what can work. When I have a GE one, I'll cycle those. Again, hopefully the solenoid's going to work for me. Can only try, right? It is what it is. Looks like my pump hose leaked its bit of water on the vinyl, which is great. If it's going to do that, put it on the vinyl.
It is really easy to lose those little tiny C-clips that hold the solenoid portion on. Those little C-clips can make you crazy. Okay, here's the answer to what caused this solenoid to burn up. It's right here, this supply line. It's something for installers to watch out for, or if you have people installing dishwashers, to watch to make sure that that supply line isn't sitting against the solenoid. What can happen is the solenoid can engage and then unable to pull up or plunge down, it can burn up. It can burn up the timer, it can burn up the solenoid itself, and so all I had to do was rotate the supply line over and make sure that that's out of the way. Also make sure the cord is out of the way of the supply line, or of any moving parts, including that solenoid. So I believe what happened here is the solenoid was kept from plunging up or down by the supply line, and luckily it didn't melt the supply line. That has constant water to that point, and that could also cause a flood, so that would be no fun. So good idea to position things out of the way. It's obvious, but good idea to position things out of the way of any moving parts. A quick search of my YouTube channel, you should be able to find a bunch of material that'll be helpful to your maintenance needs, and links to tools and parts used in the videos can be found in the descriptions below.